Planning a trip to Disney World can be a lot. It can be confusing and not to mention expensive. So here are some Disney World tips to help you have the best Disney day ever. I would not rope drop Seven Dwarfs Mine Train because the way you start your Disney day can set up how the rest of your day is going to be going. So one of the big attractions here is Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. That's one you're probably going to want to be doing, and you along with everyone else, because it's going to rack up really long wait times later in the day. But what you can do about that is get an individual lightning lane. If you get an individual lightning lane, that'll allow you a designated time where you can come back and you're guaranteed to ride the ride. However, that is going to cost you money to do. So if you're looking at not doing an individual lightning lane, another option could potentially be, if your resort has it, is to do early theme park entry. Now, certain resorts offer this perk where you can get into a theme park 30 minutes early. Any of the Disney theme parks, any day. So it's a great perk, and it's actually extended to all Disney resorts and then even some good neighbor resorts. And as you can see by this video from when we did early theme park entry around this time last year, a lot of people take advantage of this perk. So that means if you're not the very front of this line, by the time you get over to Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, you're still probably going to have a wait. Take a beeline for Peter Pan's instead, because that is another attraction that's going to have a long wait time all day. Do the standby line for that. Get that checked off before non-resort guests are even in the theme park. And if you don't have early theme park entry, consider rope dropping Adventureland. That's because the early theme park entry allows access to Fantasyland and Tomorrowland. So resort guests will be over there already in line for those attractions. So they'll already have quite a little bit of a wait by the time the theme park even officially opens. My goal is to give 25 tips, but I have to do it in the next 3 hours. And if I'm not able to do that, then I have to drink a Beverly. So there's a lot on the line with this one. It is. So I better gonna move on. Look for opportunities where you can meet multiple characters all at once. So like for example, here in the Magic Kingdom, over at Pete's Silly Sideshow and Storybook Circus, you can meet either Minnie and Daisy or Goofy and Donald by just waiting in the one line. It's like getting two for the price of one. Also over in Fantasyland is the Princess Fairy Tale Hall, where you can meet 2 different Disney princesses, again, by waiting in one line. I'll also give another tip for meeting multiple characters in just a moment. Boarding groups for popular rides can go fast, and so you don't want to be wasting your time trying to get your friends and family all linked up on your My Disney experience when the clock is literally ticking. Every second counts. So make sure that your friends and family are all linked on your My Disney experience account before you go to book your virtual queues. This inconspicuous looking fence right here is actually very important because this is where the Magic Kingdom parades begins here in Frontierland. So while watching the parade from Main Street is surely iconic, it can also take a bit longer to get to Main Street. The other day I watched it from there and the parade wasn't even over till almost 4 o'clock and it started at 3 o'clock. So that's a good chunk of your Disney day, right? If you watch it here in Frontierland, you'll be one of the first people to check the parade, and then as soon as it passes you by, you can move on to your next Disney day attraction. Also consider standing on either side of the parade route for the next ride you want to do, and you don't have to worry about trying to cross over the stream of people that are going to be following behind the parade. Oh my goodness. This is the line for Big Thunder Mountain. It is insanely busy here at Magic Kingdom today. I'm like, it's a Tuesday, what is going on? And I didn't realize until talking to my mom that there are some school kids that are on winter break right now. I wasn't aware that this was a popular school holiday for kids, so when I got here and saw the huge crowd levels, I was not prepared for that. But if I'd done a little research and realized that ahead of time, I would have set my expectations in a better place. Consider checking out character dining because it's a great way to get a good meal, get some air conditioning, and have a break for a hectic park day, and you get to meet a lot of characters all at once. What a delightful way to walk down the middle of Main Street. Now, food is a priority when I'm at Disney World, so you want to make sure you're spending your money on the best food possible. That's why I recommend not eating in a theme park. Have a meal at a neighboring resort instead of in the theme park. That's because some of the best Disney food is actually at the resorts, and you can go and see the fun theming and get a delicious meal. But this is especially true if you're having a Magic Kingdom day. That's because the food inside the Magic Kingdom park is honestly not some of my favorite, but they got the Contemporary, the Grand Floridian, the Polynesian, and they have some of the best restaurants on Disney property, only a short boat ride or monorail away. Oh, speaking of monorails, there's also one more part of the challenge, which I'll get to after this tip. If you're here at the Ticket and Transportation Center and you're looking to go to the Magic Kingdom, make sure to head over to that one because that is the express monorail. It takes you from the Magic Kingdom to the back here to TTC and Magic Kingdom and back and over and over and over again. However, there are some other monorail lines that you should be aware of. That includes the resort monorail line is like the scenic route to the Magic Kingdom because that also stops at the 3 Magic Kingdom resorts as well as stopping here at the Ticket and Transportation Center and the Magic Kingdom. So if you're looking for a more leisurely Disney day, you can always take the loop around the Magic Kingdom resorts, then take it on over to the Magic Kingdom, or even extend your monorail trip and head over to the Epcot line here at the Ticket and Transportation Center, which is where we're heading because in addition to 25 tips, 3 hours. I also have to make it over to Epcot and Hollywood Studios in that time. And remember, there's a Beverly on the line here. If you don't know what a Beverly is, first off, thank your lucky stars. Second off, here's a video of my brother trying Beverly for the first time. Yeah, so we're gonna get a move on because it is now, yikes. Wow, that bus trip took way longer than I was expecting, and it is currently 3:08. But the good news is that I'm on to my second park now. We're at a park, Hollywood Studios, where Genie Plus is definitely something you want to take advantage of. And when you're using Genie Plus, note that you can modify the time. So even though you select one time, what you can do is you basically scrub down over and over and over again, and sometimes additional times will pop up, sometimes even earlier than your original time. So if your plans change, you can always look for an alternative or maybe even one earlier, which is helpful because as soon as you use one of your Genie Plus selections, you can make another one. Maximize your opportunity to get the boarding group by hitting join virtual queue right at the designated time. You can use the clock on your iPhone to get the exact time down to the second. When it hits at 7 a.m. or 1 p.m. on the second, that's when you want to book it. Along with us talking using your My Disney Experience app and booking virtual queues, you're going to be on your phone a lot for your Disney trip, so make sure that you bring a battery pack with you. Now, I'm a big fan of using the fuel rods because they have unlimited swaps at the Disney parks. Oh, also make sure that you check your fuel rod before walking away from the terminal because I've done that so many times where I just swap it out, walk away, and realize that for some reason it just didn't swap out with a good charge and it's not charging and I have to backtrack, and you do not want to spend your Disney day doing that. You want to spend it right in awesome things like the Tower of Terror. Now, if you ever see the Tower of Terror with the posted wait time of 13, that actually means that is just a walk on. The same thing goes for the Haunted Mansion over at the Magic Kingdom as well. So if you ever see that lucky number 13 as the wait time for either of those two rides, might as well take advantage of it. And since we're down this way, I also wanted to mention some opportunities for Fantasmic. Now, if there's ever 2 showings of Fantasmic, consider going to the second one. That's because it's often a little less crowded and it usually takes place when the park has closed. So if Hollywood Studios is closing at 9:30, it's not uncommon to see a second showing of Fantasmic at 9:30. That way you have a full Disney day here at the park and then still get to see the awesome nighttime spectacular that is Fantasmic. If you're like me and you need caffeine to fuel your Disney day, you can use Starbucks gift cards inside the Starbucks locations at each of the Disney theme parks. So often what I will do is for like birthdays and holidays, I will ask for Starbucks gift cards and then I'll just keep them for my Disney trips. This is especially great news because everything at Starbucks is going to taste way better than the Beverly I have to drink if I don't get to move on now because it is, what does that say? I don't think that clock's right. It's 3:15? There are several rides at Hollywood Studios that get big wait times throughout the day, and Slinky Dog Dash is one of those. Going back to earlier in the video when we talked about early theme park entry, definitely try using that 30 minutes in the park earlier to rope drop this attraction because the wait times are just going to keep going up through the day. Oftentimes, lounges at Disney parks and resorts are a great way to experience a restaurant that you couldn't get a reservation for because you could potentially sit at the bar because lounge is Disney speak for bar. Usually these lounges are on a first come first serve basis, and so you'll add your name to a walk-up list the day of, usually about an hour before or right when the lounge opens, depending on which one it is. However, here at Galaxy's Edge, you have to have a reservation for Oga's Cantina. Okay, let me back up. You don't have to have a reservation for Oga's Cantina. It's available, and it's the only lounge that does have a reservation option, which is great news because if you can get a reservation, then you're guaranteed to see one of the coolest places at Disney World. Oga's Cantina is definitely a can't miss. Even if you're not a big Star Wars fan, it's just a lot of fun. It's high energy. There is a possibility of joining the walk-up list, but it's such a popular place that often the walk-up list just isn't open. Now, there's usually workarounds to where you don't have to get a Lightning Lane or Genie Plus, but when it comes to Rise of the Resistance, one of the most popular rides at all of Disney World, if it's a possibility, I'd recommend just go ahead and getting the individual Lightning Lane so that you're guaranteed you're not missing this incredible attraction. Woo! Did a loop around Hollywood Studios in record time. Now on to my last park. Now to get over to Epcot, I have a couple of options here. I can either take the boat, which stops at Epcot Area Resort. Now probably my quickest bet would be to take the Skyliner. This one here at Hollywood Studios goes to Caribbean Beach, and then there's transfers to other Skyliner resorts and Epcot. But I'm actually not going to do any of those options. I'm going to do something a little bit different. It's one of my favorite low-key things at Disney, and that is this here walking path between Epcot and Hollywood Studios. Now, last time I stayed at the Dolphin, it actually was quicker for me to just take this path, walk over to Hollywood Studios, than to wait for the boat. But what I really like about this path, it allows you to experience the Disney resorts in a different way. And I'm always on the lookout for new ways to experience Disney World because whether this is your first trip or you've lost count, there's always something new to experience at Disney World and new memories to make, because that's ultimately what it's all about. That's why we come to Disney World. That's why I share these Disney tips, so that your Disney day can be amazing, so you can make those memories with your loved ones that are going to last you for a lifetime. Ooh, we got a little time before Epcot, so let's talk about Animal Kingdom. There is something that I had never seen until a very recent trip, so keep your eyes peeled if you're in Animal Kingdom for Divine. Oh, there's a wedding happening here at the boardwalk. That's so awesome. And during the time we were supposed to have a Disney wedding because our reception was going to be at the Atlantic Dance Hall. But that's a story for another day. Also, if we're talking about Animal Kingdom, gotta get the iconic picture in front of the Tree of Life. It's absolutely gorgeous. But if you just walk right into the front of Discovery Island, where the Tree of Life is located, you're gonna be battling with other families trying to get pictures as well. But you don't need to do that. Now, if you head in, like you're heading into Africa and go to the very back of the Tree of Life, you can get fantastic pictures back there. So you just sail right on by those people getting their pictures at the front of the park. Oh, and why don't you spend your time instead joining the walk-up list for Nomad Lounge. Nomad Lounge has been one of my go-tos since it was kind of a Disney secret years and years ago. Secret's out now, but that doesn't change that. It's still a great place to grab some bites and drinks, though it is very popular. So if you are looking to experience that lounge, try joining the walk-up list as soon as it opens around 11 a.m. You'll then get a text message when you're able to actually come back to the lounge, but the earlier the better, to guarantee that you get to experience one of the best lounges at Disney World. Epcot is the epicenter for Disney foodies. There are so many fantastic restaurants here, but since there are so many delicious restaurants at the theme park, it can be challenging to get a reservation for the one you want to go to. But don't give up hope if you aren't able to get a reservation before your Disney trip begins. That's because sometimes people will cancel their dining reservations as it gets closer to the time of the reservation actually happening. So if you have some flexibility to your Disney day, try taking a look at the dining reservations the night before or even the morning of, because oftentimes people will cancel, and you can snag some hard to get reservations just by doing a little extra research. Now, another option, if there's just absolutely no reservations available, you've checked the day before, you checked the day of, and it's just not happening. Again, don't fear yet. For several restaurants, you can often try joining the walk-up list, but you can check your My Disney experience and where you go to check for dining reservations. If you scroll down to the bottom, you'll see where it says like hungry now, join walk-up list. And you'll see the restaurants that you can join the walk-up list for that are around you in proximity. So that actually includes resort restaurants as well as theme park restaurants. And then you'll be able to just join the walk-up list and you have a chance to check out a Disney restaurant without needing a reservation. Oh my goodness, I just had a little bit of a magical moment thanks to Albert from the custodial team. And so he was like, okay, pose this way, stand right there, do your hand like that. And I was like, okay, don't know what's going on. And then he showed me the final results, and yeah, truly magical. That was such a delightful thing for him to go out of his way to get me an awesome picture like that. That just made me like light up, and it just reminded me how important cast members are, and they're the Disney difference. You know, that actually made me think of another tip, because it's really easy to recognize awesome cast members like Albert by going into the My Disney Experience app, and there's a section there where you can leave a cast compliment. If possible, include the cast member's name, the location, so they can make sure that they are recognizing the right cast member. But it's a very easy way to let cast members that go above and beyond know how much you appreciate them. Also, the motto of try again not only applies to Disney dining reservations, but also for boarding groups. So if you aren't able to get a 7 a.m. boarding group, like for, say, Guardians of the Galaxy here at Epcot, that's okay, because you get another chance at 1 p.m. And you might even have a better chance of getting a boarding group for that second one, because you have to, at least right now, physically be in the park to join that second boarding group. So have no fear if you decide you just want to sleep in or somehow did not make that 7 a.m. boarding group. There is still hope. Now let's see if there's hope for me and not having to drink this Beverly. And for my final tip, do Moana Journey of Water at night. It is absolutely beautiful, lit up at nighttime with the different lights from the attraction, along with Spaceship Earth in the background. It is truly magical. Missing it at nighttime would truly be a mistake. And if you want to avoid some other common Disney mistakes, check out this video here, all about things that waste your time at the theme parks. And speaking of time, it is currently, which means I did not accomplish my goal. At least I have a beautiful view for this. Oh, all right. That aftertaste though. I'll meet you on Main Street.